Bitcoin is melting. People are freaking out. There's plenty of data that shows you that the consumer is getting weak and that there might be a recession on the way. Same time, Meta's breaking out to all-time new highs. Plenty of stocks look like they have bullish setups. We have Powell speaking twice this week. CPI data. Bank earnings start on Friday. What are you going to do amidst the chaos? And I've been on a hot win streak, baby. Can I keep the win streak alive amidst the chaos? We'll find out. And I've got to rock this video out because I want to watch House of the Dragons, baby. That's my Sunday snack. So let's hop into it. Hawk Tua. That's what Meta's been given to investors right now. You see what I did there? I ride the hop into it with a Hawk Tua. I got my vacation brain. Okay, let's get serious. Get locked in. So last Friday, I played AMD, very bullish, called out Netflix, very bullish. Both of those played out very well. I only played one because I was on my laptop at the lake, having a blast. It's always great when you can just like make money and then go swim in the lake. Oh, wonderful time. This looks like it's got a lot more upside. We're seeing that the daily wants to fire to the upside. Now it's a bit interesting and it might make some people very nervous to kind of see like, hey, this isn't trending the same way it did when we're looking at the overall sector of like AI infrastructure, right? Usually NVIDIA would take off, SMCI take off, and then you can kind of look at the other players and you can say, oh, I catch sentiment moves here from these, okay? Right now, AMD is kind of leading to the upside. We have this very interesting double top. If we break through that, I'm looking for 186 to the upside. But you're not going to see the same signals. You're not going to be able to trade it the same way. It might mean that we have a slow grind up, or it could just be a massive break once the daily gives us this signal. We saw how, incredible this move was, right after we got out of this EMA convergence, and we've been through a long period of consolidation. So maybe NVIDIA actually starts to pick up here. Maybe we'll see NVIDIA and other names start to chase AMD. It would be an interesting change that we could see develop in the market. Now, what I did miss, though, was Meta. Meta looks incredibly bullish, and I am a shareholder here, and I was originally using this 5-wave pattern to measure that to the upside. Now, there's a few interesting things here, though, because we've now seen the stock break to a new high. Now, there still could be an ABC playing out, and those can get to new highs. It's rare, but it can happen. But one of the things that my brain is thinking right now is that maybe this was the ABC. It was like an impulsive ABC where we have the perfect 1.618 extension. Although it's important to note that this also looks perfect for a wave one. So, that perfect touch for wave 3 there at the 1.618 again. But when we look at this breaking to new highs, I'm wondering if this is a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In which case, you might be looking for something like 800 for Meta to come in the future, and that would probably play out in 2025. Probably midway through 2025, you actually reach those levels, and this would be the wave 4 that just played out. So this could be a really bullish move for the stock right here. Right here, you could get the final push to 500. Could happen. Either way, I still think there's a great setup right here if we come in and we come over these highs. I mean, look at this move on Friday. This wasn't on my radar on Friday. We got this huge buying right after the open, and this thing was pretty much bullish for the rest of the day. I wonder if that was even was that a 1? That wasn't even to a 1. So probably actually you just come in and you look for 555 this week potentially. Yeah, so that'll be interesting. You break over. I probably come in with the 545s this week. The next stock I want to talk about is Palantir. I decided not to swing some short-term calls into the weekend for this stock. I actually went ahead and took some profits, but I still have a lot longer dated calls. And I might come in and chase it on the short term if we get a break over 27.47. To be honest, I probably could even had the shorter dated calls just because of how bullish this looks on the weekly. And on the daily, we got the reversal confirmation as well. Over 27.47, you probably come and test this 29 level. I mean, this is basically getting out of a 3-year bear cycle that we've seen for this stock. If you can get to $30 here, I mean, your all-time highs for the last 3 years. It'll probably be a while before we see a test of, 45 here that we saw in 2021. What would be the driver for that is we actually see, Palantir actually break out in the commercial side a bit. And we don't see the dependence on government contracts. And the other thing about Palantir that's interesting is the likelihood of war. It probably favors really well for this stock. It also would probably favor very well for Intel. And we've been seeing some movement out of Intel recently. And actually, this is coinciding with some fears about China invasion in Taiwan. Suddenly, Intel is breaking out. This has been on my radar, but I haven't played it. And in fact, I sold some of my long-term Intel for more Tesla. And actually, we're at a huge level right here. Actually, we just broke out over this weekly. This may actually be a good setup for this week too. Another stock that's looking bullish. You might, in general, just want IWM on your radar. What does this look like on the weekly and daily? Because we're seeing a lot of these. Look at that. We could get a big impulsive move out of IWM because futures melting. Same with SPY here. So that's interesting. I wonder if you could actually go for IWM long, SPY short, 2-1. I know one of our other traders set that up, and I wonder if he's sending something similar this weekly. Yeah, if you can get above this, basically came up and touched this EMA cloud. That'd be over 3277. That's interesting. This is picking up in tandem with the probabilities of China invading Taiwan increasing. Okay. Intel is a good name for that because, obviously they're all this investment into American and domestic production, right? To diversify that production. They see it as a strategic political investment that they're taking. It's a big bet for the company that, hey, the world's getting more chaotic. You can't rely as heavily on these complex supply chains that are halfway across the world. It's really interesting that Palantir is doing well. Intel is doing well. Tesla is an interesting one in this case, by the way, for war. Now, this is one of these things where people say I'm crazy, and then I end up being right, but it is crazy. I recognize it's crazy, but sometimes these crazy ideas end up coming true. War could be extremely bullish for Tesla, like unwarrantedly so. Okay, because the way I see it, Optimus robots, no one else has that production line. If we break out into a war and you have this option to not use humans, but to use these robots that work, if they make mistakes, it's cheaper. It's just cheaper to use them. There might be a resource issues there, but we got neighbors up north in Canada that have tons of natural resources. We have an abundance of natural resources that we could tap into if there was the political will, something that would be granted if there was a large war. I mean, we could produce these things like crazy. That might be insanely bullish for Tesla. It would be bullish for Intel. It'd be bullish for Palantir. Of course, you have the other stocks. Boeing might get out of this bearish cycle that's been in if there's, something with war. All things to just consider, right? When as a trader, we're just playing probabilities and we're keeping these ideas on the table so that these catalysts happen. We know exactly what we want to go for immediately, right? I know it's awful, it's terrible, but what am I going to do? All I can do is just try to make money off of it, right? The last thing I want to cover for the weekly report is we had a request for me to take a look at Penn, and someone asked me why Penn setup doesn't look like the Tesla setup. So let's just go ahead and take a look at maybe the 1 hour charts and see, like, okay, I kind of see what they're getting at. We have this big impulse wave, and then we have this chop. Same thing with Tesla, big impulse wave, and then we have this chop, and it looks like it wants to give another impulse wave. The reason that this doesn't look as strong as Tesla is right here on the daily. It's like one of the biggest signals that I use for catching third waves, which have these huge extensions that can give these massive returns, is the alignment on the daily firing to the upside. On the daily, sorry, we're on the 1 hour a moment ago, and then the weekly. The weekly fired to the upside in tandem with the daily at the same exact time. One of them will give you a nice impulse move to the upside. both of them firing to the upside, that's when you get these huge third wave moves. Okay. This has been the most profitable trade of the year, especially, well, also because I had tons of stock. This is my largest stock position, obviously. I think Tesla's going much higher. I'm looking for some retracement from here, but Tesla's going much, much higher. And I don't see them in a losing position at all. I see them in like winner take all type of scenario. And keep in mind, this company's been out of the, I mean, there's go watch my Tesla videos, and I got more coming out of the way. I don't want to get sidetracked on them. And I got a few more important things. But before I say those things, like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell so you don't miss future videos. I see a lot of people are very bearish and getting worried about the signs of recession. And I just want to say the charts look very bullish to me. And I know there's a lot of uncertainty. We talked about the politics. If they swap Biden now, all of that. The uncertainty could cause the market to get worried. Obviously, if you think Biden's going to win, you should be very bullish. If you think Trump's going to win, that's going to be more bearish. If you think they're going to swipe Biden out, there is really no precedent for that, for them swapping out a candidate last second. There's a lot of unique things that make people say, oh, the historical data isn't relevant. But I'm always looking for a baseline to kind of set my probabilities and to kind of have the perspective and to avoid the trap of like, this time is different. And then it ends up not being different, because it usually isn't. Usually it's a rhyme of something else that we've seen before, right? So I think right now, and we talked about a few weeks ago, there was, before all this kind of new chaos and before the bad data, we saw large amounts of out the money put behind. So the market is hedged for something, some volatility heading into the end of the year or some downside. So it is there. It's not like the market's completely unaware. In 2021, everyone's just one-sided, and then we get a full year of 2022. It's just bleh, even if we do, we'll survive as we always do. Here we are, better than ever. In astounding fashion, actually. I didn't expect our performance this year to be as amazing as it has been, both in growth for the company, growth in my portfolio, growth on the socials. It's all been amazing. But three big things that are going to be coming up, though, all kind of stemming from one thing. We have made big headway on creating more bots for the Discord. So the first one you might all be familiar with just because of the size and reach that Unusual Whales has. I want to incorporate my own bot similar to his. He offers a lot of different tools. I see a lot of them as mostly useless. So the only one that I want to incorporate is the one that tracks unusual options trades. And this is because I found, hey, we had a bot, but we didn't send it live into the Discord. I was playing with it with, tracking the SEC filings for senators and stuff, because it is interesting. And I think that is actually helpful information. But it's too late. Typically when you actually get the SEC filing, it's like 60 days later, they're already up big, or they've already been slaughtered by the position. So really the only way to track that truly is to catch them when they make the trade. The only way to really do that, to make an attempt at that, is to track this unusual options activity. It's very simple to set up. It's just simply your volume greater than your open interest on the position. And then I'll do some, obviously on any scanning tool that we set up in the Discord, or signal tool, I'm going to, filter in through the stocks, right? I don't want every little penny stock or pink sheet that hits some sort of parameter to be signaled to the Discord. So that's getting set up. We've made big headway on that. We have access to the market data and stuff. The second one that's going to be set up is going to be tracking my trades live. Now, this is probably going to need a lot of testing, and it's like 90% of the way done. And then I'll begin the testing. The testing is going to be to see how it appears to the Discord, kind of get a feel for what I like or what I think is too annoying. It will track every trade I make within like 5 seconds. So me partially closing a position and stuff, me opening positions. I don't want it saying the size of my positions for a number of reasons, but I think most importantly because what is small for me might be large for someone else, and they might see the size of the position and think that it's like some, I'm like going all in or something. because I don't reveal my account size and I don't want to, right? The big marketing decision that I made years ago that I've stuck to is I'm never going to reveal my account size. I'm not going to show dollar amounts. It's going to be percentages. It's going to be about knowledge. It's going to be about consistency. That's what I want to build the brand off of. I don't want a community and audience who thinks that this is about getting rich overnight. You're going to get rich, but it's more about being consistent, right? Consistent, profitable traders that have durability. Okay. What we do is execute in the short term, but how we think is very long term. That's because I want you to become independent traders. I don't want you to all become reliant on me. So that's going to be incorporated. The last thing that I want incorporated into the Discord is the third wave, Elliott third wave signal bot that will automatically track stocks. Now, this is probably going to take us from, I feel like we started here. We've kind of gotten like here. And once all of these tools are set up, we're probably going to be up here. Because first of all, once we get these up and working and I feel like I'm comfortable releasing them into the Discord as different products within the Discord, it's probably going to give way to a lot of other different products. So such as automated trading with the AI tool and, even then creating their own alerts and stuff. So I've been creating my own alerts in TradingView as of recent using trading processes that I've developed over the past few years that work really well. One has a hit rate of something like it's over 90%. It's insane. So it's going to put us on the map as clearly one of the best trading discords, trading platforms, trading communities. And that will probably relate to also raise prices, although I want to wait a few months before I'm like, okay, these things are there, right? These are fully flushed products. Right now, everything's like in early alpha, and then we put it in the Discord, it'll still be in beta. And then after that beta phase, that'll probably be a pretty large price increase of the Discord. Of course, with the nature of what we do, it doesn't really matter how much I charge. It's just the initial barrier to entry, right? I'm fairly certain that most members don't even feel the fees that we charge, especially this year. I mean, people join and then they pay for like a full year of membership within like 2 trades. So I'm not really worried about in that aspect anymore, especially since as we charge more people gain interest. Okay, I feel like actually being cheaper actually turns people off to the product because we were free for like 2.5 years, and then I started charging, and then everyone started signing up and joining. So whatever. Some things I have to learn, I guess, about marketing and consumer habits that I probably should have already known. But we'll be incorporating. Those will be huge things, and they'll be exciting. So I hope you stick around for all of that because you're not going to want to miss it because it's going to be huge. These are multi-year goals that I've been aiming for that are finally coming to fruition, hopefully within the next few months. And it's just taking a little bit longer than I thought because I have a coder who doesn't understand markets. I understand markets, but I'm a very novice coder. So we've had to bridge that language barrier, and I teaching him about markets and he's teaching me about coding, and we're kind of meeting in the middle and finally getting these things together. Although I did write my first Pine script, which was, something new, still learning, old dog learning new tricks. What's up? Anyways, hope you enjoyed this video. We got lots more on the way. A lot of exciting stuff, actually. So you're not going to want to miss that. Make sure you ring that bell, and God bless.